think, where am I going to find a place to rent that I can raise a litter of puppies? It's affordable and it's close enough to commute to Walter Reed. Paul Warder. Well, there was a very special colonel that got involved, and we'll talk more here about Colonel George Nussbaum, who helped me very much in finding this location. And when I came out here for the first time, I thought, what are the chances? It said dogs considered, or pets considered on a case-by-case basis. And I thought, well, this is a very special case. But the serendipity of it is that the person who was responsible for deciding who would rent here, when I called him, he was living in Palo Alto, California, where I started this program. And over and over again, this serendipity has been involved in this. And I think we just need to keep it moving forward and keep paying it forward. When we had a litter of puppies this past summer, it was very easy because we had a nice little patio here, and we could put up a tent. That worked fine. But when we had a litter of puppies coming in winter, we thought, oh my, what are we going to do? And Molly and I talked and said, well, we have the garage. Maybe we can do something to at least put some heat out there and put some plastic up. And then Alice wrote the letter, and then Matt Bobbitt and Steve. Steve Drake, they came out the day after Thanksgiving, and because they responded to Ellis's letter, and they came out and brought their tape measures and heard what we were doing, and they said, I think we can help. And the next thing I know, we have the managers of Home Depot out here on Saturdays, with the circular saw cutting boards. And I think this is just amazing, and took this garage and turned it into just a phenomenal place to raise the dogs and to involve warriors in the community in fostering and building love and trust in these pups. So it's just my pleasure to really honor the work that Home Depot has done in really embracing this mission to help warriors and help train the dogs. And I'd like to acknowledge Matt and Steve, if you could come up, and I'd like to present you with something. This is the Wag of the Tail Award. And you're one of the first recipients of the Wag of the Tail Award. Couldn't come up with a better name, because there's certainly a lot of tails wagging. And if I had a tail, it would be wagging too. So I want to present this to you. Thank you. Matt, Steve, thank you, folks.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. And as previously mentioned, this really came about from Alice Belthal sending me a letter explaining to me that there was a need. And I was confused. I knew she was a loyal puppy watcher and loyal Home Depot customer, but she was in New Jersey writing me this letter about this program in Brookville, Maryland, and Walter Reed. So I spoke to her on the phone, and she arranged a meeting between Steve and I and Rick and Molly, and we immediately felt like we were compelled to take action. So what I want everyone to know is that this is in line with Home Depot's values, our core values at Home Depot, and there was no red tape. I didn't have to call anybody and ask them permission to do this. I didn't have to get anybody to sign off or call our regional vice president or anything. I simply made the decision that this was the right thing to do. It was in line with our values as a company, and we went to work. We had over 25 Home Depot volunteers and vendors participate and what you see today. And it was simply amazing. I also want to take a moment to share a few words. My leader, his name is Bill Schul. He's the district manager for Washington, D.C. Bill was in the Marine Corps for 14 years, and when I shared this mission with him, he was more than enthusiastic. He was out here swinging hammers. Kind of scared me a couple times. But I just want to share a few words from Bill. He couldn't be here today, but I'll just start. One, from Bill, I'd like to start by identifying the veterans in the audience. If you could please raise your hands. Thank you so much for your service to our country. As a veteran myself, this is very personal to me. I know very well the transition from military to civilian life isn't easy, but that veterans learn skills and leadership qualities in the military that make them valuable assets to our communities and business long after they leave service. Believe it or not, Bill is one of nearly 35,000 veterans that work for the Home Depot. That is why, in particular, he was excited in 2011 when Home Depot and the Home Depot Foundation decided to take on veteran needs in a big way. To do this, the Home Depot Foundation committed $80 million over 5 years to nonprofit organizations dedicated to improving homes and lives of veterans. We knew it wouldn't be easy, but we were up to the challenge. We've been at this for nearly 2 years now, and we are very aware of the health issues that continue to face veterans across the country, especially TBI and PTSD. We are also better prepared to recognize the organizations that do incredibly effective work in the field. Warrior Canine Connection is certainly one of those that stand out. Many of you have worked with our Team Depot over the past few months on this project. I know we shouldn't brag, but I would have to say that when Home Depot shows up for a project, you're going to get some of the best, most knowledgeable, and hardest working volunteers in the country. Will our Home Depot volunteers please raise your hands to be recognized? We are so glad that what we started as a volunteer partnership has turned into a much more impactful relationship. Rick, Molly, Patty, we truly appreciate your partnership, and we're looking forward to seeing what we can accomplish in the future. Congratulations and thank you.
Rick, you were right about your dog. During that short time, I think met another 20 people. Now it's an important moment because I'd like to introduce Captain Robert Kaufman. He is the Deputy Director for Clinical Operations at the National Intrepid Center of Excellence for Traumatic Brain Injury and Psychological Health. Now, Captain Kaufman has unparalleled experience in Navy psychiatry. His tireless pursuit to enhance the resilience and the mental health of sailors and Marines has taken him all over the world, including several deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan. Back in 2008, Captain Kaufman, as a matter of fact, was the recipient of the Sears Award that is presented to the Navy's leading psychiatrists. In addition to his demanding responsibilities for NICO, Captain Kaufman is also a puppy parent to Ron, a WCC service dog in training. Please, ladies and gentlemen, a warm round of applause for Captain Kaufman.
Ron's applauding now, too. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Captain Sarah Cass, our Deputy Commander, and Dr. Jim Kelly, our Director for the National Intrepid Center of Excellence, welcome, and it is a pleasure and honor to be here. I want to share with you a little bit of personal anecdote as to why Warrior Canine Connection is so important, not only to me, but to the patients that we, and I say we, all 100 or so of us at the NICO serve. And it's really an opportunity to take a moment and reflect on what it is that our service members who have served in 10 years, more than 10 years of war, have contributed tirelessly and have sacrificed so much. My own experience is rich in that I was in Iraq very early on and throughout actually several deployments, and every time I as a therapist went to do my job, it seemed that the service members that I was caring for had figured out ways to take care of themselves. And largely it was by adopting feral animals. And so many service members, and I'm sure Sergeant Milo is probably guilty, so many service members adopted feral animals that the commanding general actually issued General Order Number 1 that because of the fear of rabies, no one will have an animal. Well, that didn't stop anyone. And I can tell you that I saw more puppies in Alice packs and more feral dogs in tanks, and everywhere you went, people had adopted dogs. And anecdotally, they just seemed to do better. They didn't necessarily need a traveling shrink. They just needed to have a connection with something warm and fuzzy and something that would that they could take care of. And that relationship with canines sort of followed me back, and I was